Thank you very much for finding time. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's gonna be like an easy conversation. It's more
Okay.
about your perception of cooking, about Tascas, about Baldracca.
Okay, yeah. I'm ready for that.
Pronouncing correctly, Baldracca.
What does it mean, Baldracca?
The pronunciation.
Baldracca.
Baldracca
Yeah.
is in Italian.
Yeah, it's an Italian word, yeah. But I'm Brazilian, and we have a different pronunciation that we say Baldracca. It's Baldracca is some of the same, and it is an Italian word.
Yeah.
You know what does it mean?
Shameless.
No, it kind of. It's a little bit. It's worse than that.
Yeah.
It's a kind of
I'm trying to
old
be
whore.
but yeah, it's a whore, right?
Yeah, no, but because after me, there was a pizza place here, and the name became from this pizza place.
Okay.
Because the last owner realized that he married with a shameless restaurant because he was spending all the time in the restaurant.
Right.
And spending money and everything every day. He was just thinking about the restaurant. That was
So
the
it was
reason.
his relations with a restaurant like
Yes,
culinary.
this is a very romantic idea to open a place. So we did the same thing. We keep the name.
Sounds good. So, are you a punk in the gastro world?
I don't like the maybe punk no, but I like to be a kind of an outsider. This is my idea. Yeah.
And maybe we can start with like your cooking journey. So where did you start? Where did you learn to cook? Why cooking?
Well, I did kitchen culinary schools in Brazil, and then I realized that I need to come to Portugal because at that time I had a girlfriend who came to study, and I say, why not? I'm gonna go and pass some days, some time in Portugal. Then I figured out that I could also do a master in kitchen school, in culinary schools here also. Then I did, and after that, I realized I was not able to be back to Brazil. So I stay here and I start to work. I work in Taverna Sal Grosso. I don't know if you know. Also, I worked with Zé from Velo Rico. We were working together there. Then I spent to different places. I opened my first business at Musa. Musa is a Lisbon brewery very nearby here. In 2020, it was January. I opened, and at March I closed because of the COVID. But then we were closing and open every 3 months until I found this place and realized that I could open a restaurant. Yeah.
Understood. Talking about Baldracca, so it's obviously Tasca, but it's kind of a Tasca with a modern twist.
Yeah.
What is this modern twist for you?
I mean, we have different stories about restaurants and kitchens and everything. Basically, I think that we can mix all together because we also like good ingredients, good skill, good techniques to use in the techniques that you can use in the kitchen. But we also can keep the vibe of a very loud Tasca, that we can put some loud music, talk a little bit, like more closer, and then make this a cozy place. That's the thing that I like to do. I like to play. First of all, we are a very small place, and we do loud music because for me it's not comfortable to heard a conversation of the next table. So we put loud music for this reason. And then create a very nice environment because in the end, everybody is talking and they are changing information, they are talking about everything, and they knew each other maybe 10 minutes ago. And in the end of the night, the dinner, we create a very nice environment inside of the restaurant with good food and good ingredients and with different plates.
So what is an authentic Tasca? It's like the atmosphere, so it needs to be chaotic, spontaneous, loud, good food.
Everything all together.
Simple.
Yeah, I think it's a very cozy and tiny place with the owner of the people who's working there talking loud, making jokes with the customers and serving proper good food. That's it for me.
Sounds good. Do you think that people sometimes underestimate the difficulty behind the simple food that you serve? Because it still requires a skill, right? So it looks simple, it looks easy, but there is lots of work there in the kitchen. And
but I think here in my restaurant, I think the people can feel it. That is a little bit. There's work on it, so we can do. I can feel like it's okay. So don't need to.
it's fine.
No, it's fine.
Oh, good.
Obrigado. Let's do it again. Sorry.
The people, you said that people understand here
Yeah.
that there is some work behind each dish.
Yeah, I can see that the people recognize the service, that the work that we are putting on each plate that we are serving, because as we are a little bit different, we think a little bit different because I'm not Portuguese. There's a lot of people who's not Portuguese working with me, and we bring different ideas to the Portuguese kitchen, and also we do a kind of mix with a lot of different products and skills from the world we put in each dish. So yeah, I think they recognize this, our.
It was actually my
hard work.
next question is about where do you get ideas for your dishes?
It started with different approach from the same product. When we started this project, I had a chef who had a very nice skills and knowledge about about kitchen, and then he brought very good ideas. There was another guy he's Brazilian as well, but he was working in Spain, so he brought some Spanish thoughts about food, and we said, okay, why not that we can mix all together and make a kind of fusion, but not in the bad way. So we realized that we can put all together in the same restaurant.
What's the dish on the menu that looks simple but actually is difficult to get it right?
I think every plate is a kind of looks a kind of simple, but I mean, for example, the grilled squid we serve with moqueca, which is a kind of Brazilian curry. But we use also a fermented, dehydrated tomato and then sometimes you cannot see that thing in the plate, but brings difference to the dish when you put it in your mouth. Also, the croquettes. I don't know if you tried. We have a kind of. I was working in a restaurant, and then I had an idea to make a kind of croquettes of soup. So it's not a soup, it's a croquette. But in Portugal there's a very traditional soup that's called caldo verde, which is basically potato, cabbage, and chorizo. And when you bite that croquette, you have the same flavor that when you're having the soup. So this is very simple, but it took a long time for us to have the perfect recipe to serve that.
To try. Then talking maybe about the regulars, I think it's kind of an essential part of every Tasca is to have locals and regulars that come every day, like every week. Are there regulars in Baldracca?
Well, we are, I think, is one of the less neighborhoods in Lisbon that we can have locals with us. We do two things here. I have the regular customers that they are with us since we opened the restaurant 4 years ago. But also it's a good thing because most part of the locals here they feel a little bit ashamed to come in the restaurant because we serve different food. Maybe they are very traditional and sometimes they don't like our food. They don't like they don't know too much about the different ingredients that we use. But we have a table over there, and every time I'm putting some plates to them. I'm offering just to them to try different things, and then I conquer her heart, their hearts. And sometimes what I do here to have them nearby me, it's there's another coffee here that there's a man who works, and then we are always talking about food, and maybe once in a month we are doing dinners or lunch to the locals, and then we are cooking, we offering everything, and we're doing a very nice. We spend a nice time together, and it's a good thing to make me like a local and show the people that this place is very democratic and everybody can come in it.
Understood. Talking about maybe product and suppliers, Portugal has incredible supply.
Yeah.
Seafood, shellfish, vegetables, everything. How do you build relations with those suppliers?
It was since I'm here in Portugal, maybe 12 years ago. When I started to work, I started to talk with the suppliers, and we create very nice bonds. And after that, it was easy. I mean, there's some new suppliers who come and then talk with me, and I try the products and say, okay, we can put this in the restaurant. And also, since I was working in the industry, I figure out some good suppliers to make a good relationship.
Have you ever changed the dishes on the menu because something exceptional arrived?
Yeah, usually we do. For example, we have a tomato salad, but we just use the tomato when we have good tomatoes. We are in the season, and then I have a very nice supplier, which called Hortelão do Oeste. I don't know if you know, but he has. The last time I went there, in his farm, I think he has 272 different species of tomato. So when we are in the season, fuck them. I don't care. Bring me tomatoes. What
would Baldracca feel different if it was not in Lisbon, but somewhere in a different city?
The environment. First of all, I think it's the environment because you came. I don't know. You came only at lunch. It was your first time. So when you come at dinner, you have a different environment because we create with the loud music and everybody's talking. It's a kind of organized chaos that you can see. This is the first impression, and then when we create a good vibe, which is we let the customers relax a little bit. To come on, guys, you're gonna eat very well. We have a good. We have good dishes. We have good kitchen to show to you. And after that, everything is more relaxed. And then when we start to pour the dishes, and then say after, of course we have quality and we have skills to put all on the dishes in our work. So when everything is together, that's the secret to have a good Tasca and environment.
all those new trends like pop-ups and guest chefs, you are participating in those?
Yeah, so the thing is, the funny story was I opened my first business at Musa, and then we closed because of COVID. We are always trying to figure out what we're gonna do to start to keep working, to keep in movement. When this happened, we realized that we need to be close with our friends who work in the industry as well. We create a kind of chefs collective. It was the New Kids on the Block. And then we start to play the game, which is, every week we have different rules. We need to change, we need to move, we need to cancel or whatever. And then we realized that it was very good for us to keep together and keep working. And then I have a very nice team at Musa to help me to organize. And then we start to make a lot of pop-ups there, a lot of collabs. And when we start to do this, I think, in my opinion, everybody starts to do this in a very strong way. Every week, every day, we'll have different people working in different places, calling us, talking with us, and not only with the New Kids on the Block, but also all the restaurants who also work with us, and we are friends. And we always work doing the pop-ups because it's a funny way, it's a good way for me to work, not in my restaurant, because sometimes it could be boring, not boring, but it's nice to change the place of work, and yeah, it's a good thing to create new bondings and talking with new people.
Do you think people come for a chef or for good food and atmosphere?
I think, as I said in the last time, not last time, as I said before, I think everything needs to be everything together, because sometimes you can have a good chef if you have a not nice environment. Maybe the experience is not going to be the same. And the opposite as well. If the atmosphere is nice, maybe maybe the food is not going to be the star. I mean, but when you have everything together, that's the secret to have success.
If someone came to Lisbon and had time just for one, let's say, Tasca experience, what would you want them to experience?
I can't say just one. But if we are talking about Tasca in a traditional Portuguese Tasca, I'm gonna say Zé dos Cornos, which is very nice, very near from here, or Vida de Tasca, which is Leonor. She's my friend, and she also is running a very nice place. But being the Portuguese loud place with everybody talking at the same time, go to Zé dos Cornos. Yeah.
Okay, on the list. Maybe like that's where we started about this punk and being outside of the system, as you said. So this anti-Michelin kind of aesthetics, is it more of an anarchy? Or it's,
I mean, I have a lot of respect about all the people who's working in Michelin stars and Michelin restaurants every time. This is sometimes maybe they can maybe feel like a rudeness about our part and things like that. But no, I mean, this started as a joke. That we're saying the fine dining is dead because a friend came and wrote in the wall, fine dining is dead, and then we said, okay, maybe we can do this for kind of statement. But I liked very much the fine dining. I like to eat in fine dining, but I cannot eat at fine dining every time. So that's the reason that I say, okay, fine dining is dead because we can eat very nice food, but not being in a fine dining places. But that's kind of just a joke that works when we start the restaurant. Maybe they don't like too much, but okay, we need to do it that.
Thank you very much. It
That's
was
it?
very interesting. Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's pretty much it.
I was kind of nervous.
Yeah, me too.
It's an nice interview.
Yes, thank you so much.
Welcome.